Creative Q on Open Studios. My name is Sane, and today we have from Black Umbrellas, Ezzad Fakier, the Regional Manager. How are you doing today, Ezzad?
Thank you, Sani. I'm well. I trust that you're well too.
I'm well myself. It's so great to have this opportunity to speak to you on the subject mentorship, because I know Black Umbrellas, I've researched on it, and I know that they provide so much assistance for upcoming SMEs. So today we're going to focus on mentorship, but before I get into just the whole subject on its own, I'd just like to know the origins of Black Umbrellas. Where did it derive and how did it come about?
Thank you, Sani. Thank you firstly for the opportunity to invite us to your show. Business has always been the heart of what Black Umbrellas wants to achieve for the country.
Yes.
Black Umbrellas originated in Cape Town, and it's so amazing that we're having this interview.
Yeah.
Is the fact that we're actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year. So it's quite exciting time for Black Umbrellas. The organization originally started 10 years ago, and it was founded by two members,
Yes.
Charles Maisel and Mark Frankel. And they believed that there's an opportunity for black people to run and own their own businesses. However, there is certain things that they would require to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And what Black Umbrellas, what Mark and Charles actually did was to establish a place where black businesses could actually go to, get training, get assistance with finance, access to finance, get access to office premises. As we know, small businesses, if you don't have an office premise, it becomes a little bit of a problem.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah, people start thinking that you're a fly-by-night, they don't trust you, that type of thing. So it gave the business owner a place to go and work at. Over the years, Black Umbrellas obviously joined up with the. Just pause there. In 2009, the Shanduka Foundation actually brought into the whole Black Umbrellas program, and there was obviously funding put into this organization so that the organization can actually grow and have a footprint around the country.
So you're saying that Black Umbrellas was birthed out of Shanduka?
No, Shanduka Foundation actually
is the main umbrella.
It actually funded Black Umbrellas to be able to grow what it is today.
Yes, and you're saying the two founders, they solely designed Black Umbrellas to provide this service for upcoming, is it black specifically, non-white, like people of color?
100% black-owned businesses.
And would this be from concepts, would this be financing concepts or existing businesses?
It would be from financing concepts. It would be not necessarily financing, but it's more about development.
Developing, yeah.
So they would get perhaps access to finance, but it's a lot also around getting existing businesses also to make sure that they become compliant
and sustainable.
And sustainable, because that's one thing that the country actually requires. Because if we look at in terms of just what small businesses contribute to the country's GDP, it's roughly about between 34 and 36%.
Yes.
And if you actually look at the amount of small businesses that fail within the first 2 years, you're looking at an 80% failure rate. Hence, a program like this actually helps a lot of small businesses. Just talk about some of the figures or what Black Umbrellas has done since inception.
Yes.
We've incubated around about 1,384 businesses.
Which are still running today.
These businesses have employed in excess of 11,000 employees. And in total, all the businesses collectively, they've got a total turnover of 2.9 billion rand.
So this is all within Black Umbrellas. This is their contribution to our economy, you'd say.
That is correct. I mean, if you look at the economy itself, the entrepreneurs, the businesses on the program, they've contributed to the tax fiscus, paying taxes to the tune of about 290 million rand. So it's given back into the country as well. Yeah,
that's actually a very great initiative. I mean, for 10 years to have done so much within a small space of time. So would you say that, what would you say are the fundamental values of not Shanduka, but Black Umbrellas.
Black Umbrellas.
Yeah.
Our fundamental values are collaboration, excellence, and regeneration. Collaboration in the sense that it takes a village to build.
To build, 100%.
You know, if you actually think about it, we need government, we need the private sector, we need civil society to be able to ensure that we can create a suitable environment for businesses to operate in. If we look at excellence, we strive for excellence. This year, we've won an international business award from INBIA, which is the Dina Atkins Award. It's the second year that we've won it. We've won it back in 2015 and in 2019. And we're talking about competing against a number of countries. And here we have an organization like Black Umbrellas that has actually won this award on 2 occasions. So it stems well in terms of what we strive for. So we strive for excellence. In terms of regeneration, we're wanting to give back to SMEs. And we want to make sure that they are the SMEs themselves, once they graduate from our program, that they actually give back as well.
Yes. Okay. So it's these taught values in the process of growing them. You also teach them those values, so as to keep the loop happening of the development.
That is correct.
Okay. No, I understand fully. Okay. So so I'm just going to speak about the processes of how one can get into the programs. But I'm not going to get too much into detail right now. We can focus on that after the break. But what I want to know is how is the accessibility? Like, how easily accessible is Black Umbrellas? Or do you guys market? How can people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we market as per normal. But it's also important that what we look at, there's opportunities for businesses. And if we look at these, we've got various programs. So the one that we look at a lot is our incubation program, which is a 3-year program. And prior to that, you would need to complete what we call a pre-incubation program. So this is a 10-week program where you would come once a week, get to understand, the business owner actually gets to understand his business model.
So let's just pause right there, because I think now after the break we'll be able to speak properly about the processes of how to get involved into these incubation programs. So just after the break we'll have a chat to Ezzad some more, and just stay tuned. You're back on Inventive Q with Sane, and today I have Ezzad Fakier of Black Umbrellas. All right, Ezzad, let's just get back into our conversation. Today, like, the conversation was about mentorship, and you are from Black Umbrellas, and I know you guys have a whole incubation program. But now I want to really focus on the mentorship part of it. And I mean, towards the end of the conversation, we'll also speak on the other attributes that Black Umbrellas represents. All right, so what are the various ways an entrepreneur can get assistance from Black Umbrellas? And this is now practically. You can break it down and then...
What actually happens is, like I've mentioned just before the break, Black Umbrellas has a 3-year program, which is the resident and remote, which is a requirement, which is part of the mentorship program as well. So the business that comes onto the program, they would need to go through a pre-incubation, which is about 10 weeks long. Each week they would come and sit in a class. They would actually get to learn about the business model and devise and actually understand who's their customers, understand their value proposition and all those things.
Conceptualize
conceptualize. Sometimes it's existing businesses as well, and sometimes you need to define who's your customer. Because we find that many times people will come along and say, my customers, everyone, and everyone can't be your customer.
Really
know. So it's actually getting to the nitty-gritty of scale it down, understanding who is your customer. From there, after the 10 weeks, the business owners, the entrepreneur, he actually gets to present his business at a panel. So this is like a Dragon's Den type of thing.
Yeah, that's so intense. And is that a selection process?
It's part of the selection process.
Okay. So pardon, I'm sorry, I just don't want to get it confused. So you're saying the pre-incubation, is it a selection process before the actual 3-year incubation?
That is correct.
Oh, all right.
So that we ensure that the business that we bring on to the program, there are businesses that
could sustain
itself, and that there are viable business ideas. And with that, we obviously take them through the 3-year program. And the 3-year program, it's quite intense. There's a lot of training, there's a lot of involvement, but getting to the mentorship side of it.
Yeah.
So after 3 months being on the program, the entrepreneur, business owner, then get actually appointed a mentor.
Oh,
So
okay.
in that 3 months, the enterprise development managers, the person that actually looks after the businesses on the program, they start identifying areas where the business needs assistance with. So it could be marketing, it could be finance, it could just be
varies.
Varies. Could be general operations, and we identify mentors then that are able then to assist these businesses.
And would this be now people that are practicing the same sort of business, or like, would this be other successful business owners or people that are specifically mentors?
It's a host of people.
All right.
So it's not specifically necessarily people that have their own businesses.
Yes.
It could be somebody that is a professional that's working for a large corporate, and all of these mentors are actually volunteer mentors.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how did they get onto your database? Did they volunteer or?
Yeah, so we work on a volunteer basis, and all these mentors are people that are wanting to see businesses actually succeed.
So they also have a passion, a mutual passion with
That is
Black
correct.
Umbrellas.
And
Okay, that's good.
so what actually happens is these mentors, they actually take out their personal time to give back to these businesses. So we identify specific needs within the business and allocate a mentor based on that. Sometimes we find that you'll have one mentor for the 3 years that you're on the program.
That's what I was also going to ask. Do you think that's wise to stick with one person's perspective, or is it maybe a better option to?
The beauty about the program is that your mentor is not the only person that looks after you. So we've got, like I've mentioned earlier, the enterprise development manager.
Yes.
And the enterprise development manager, he's the individual that is employed by Black Umbrellas.
Yes.
And he's the one to make sure that the business actually develops. So he works together with the business owner to develop plans, forecast, areas of development for the business, areas where the business would like to develop. So he plays a mentor role as well.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily he's called a mentor, but he's getting multiple mentors. Then we have the bookkeeper, our in-house bookkeeper. The in-house bookkeeper really focuses around the finance side of the business. So they have what we call at Black Umbrellas one-on-ones. So they have a one-on-one with the entrepreneur, and they'll discuss financials, and they will say, right, you based on your financials, your forecast or your budget says X, but you're sitting at Y, so we're falling short. And
so those would happen regularly?
that would happen on a monthly basis,
Okay,
at
that's
least
good.
once a month. And then you have myself, which is the regional manager, would also have an overall look of the business and see where other problems exist within the business. Because
so that's a lot of nurturing right there.
it's a lot of nurturing. And for us, it's about the development at the end of the day of businesses, because we want to make sure that they are sustainable throughout the time that they're on the program and beyond, when they graduate from our program.
And now, would there be any non-disclosure agreements? Would you suggest that there be any, like, it is someone's, like, when you have your own concept and everyone is very sensitive about their idea in their business. In most cases, that's how people don't even want funders on board, because they know that their concept gets saturated or someone wants a piece of the pie. So how does that happen with Black Umbrellas when it comes to a person coming with their business idea and you guys nurturing it? What's the exchange?
Obviously, there's instances where we would complete a non-disclosure because it's between the mentor and the mentee. But more importantly, it's the mere fact that the reason why the mentor does this is actually to give back.
Yes.
So they actually want to develop businesses. They want to see people succeed. Hence, they are volunteered. So they don't get paid or anything like that. In the instances of where business owners require that we would look at the non-disclosure.
So you open to like that conversation.
But before that, in the agreement between the mentor and mentee, there is a non-disclosure basically based on that, so that there is nothing that can be taken away from the mentee's business.
Okay, no, that's 100% understandable. So also for creative businesses, is it something that you guys also look into?
Yes.
Creative businesses?
this day and age, everything changes all the time.
Yes, because we're in the digital age, and it's said that the creative economy is worth 90 billion, the South African creative economy. Have you guys looked into that?
The beauty about Black Umbrellas is that we are multi-sectored. We look at multi-sectored business industries. We're not industry specific, so we look at all types of businesses, whether it's from the IT sector, whether it is from the medical sector, whether it's from construction or anything. So there's many things happening in the various sectors.
Okay, no, 100%. So we're just going to go into another ad break again, and after the ad break, we'll have a chat on how one can be a part of Black Umbrellas and what processes one should follow. See you after the break. Back on Inventive Q with Sane, and I'm still speaking to Ezzad Fakier of Black Umbrellas. All right, Ezzad, just back at it. Speaking of mentorship on the creative entrepreneur's perspective, like what would you say are the benefits of having a mentor as an emerging creative entrepreneur?
Mentors play a critical role in the development of an entrepreneur because they look at the blind spots. Yes. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, the one thing that we always chase is sales, and get involved so much with operations. And like I've mentioned earlier, sometimes they think everyone is their customer.
Yes.
Where with a mentor, you actually start assisting that entrepreneur to focus.
That's exactly what I was about to say. You took the word out of my mouth. Because really, to gain clarity, you need that focus.
That is correct. So being, part of being a mentee, you need to play your part. The mentor will come along and will give you sometimes tasks for you to do. Sometimes it feels like homework.
Yes.
But it's actually to assist and to help develop the business.
Yeah.
What we don't believe in is spoon feeding.
Yes, no, 100%.
So it's about, the business owner putting in his time, his energy, as much as the mentor does. Because the mentor is there to really assist him and guide him. Because sometimes we look at things and we believe things are going to work in a specific way, where the mentor will actually question that.
Yeah, and I was also going to ask now you saying that the relationship should be a very openly communicative relationship. I can imagine that these are business owners and they're people that are how hectic are their schedules? Can a mentee access them on a regular? You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That relationship, is it a flexible relationship?
So I normally tell the mentee he needs to take control because it's his business.
Okay.
It shouldn't wait for
fall on the mentor's lap.
The mentor's lap or the enterprise development manager's lap or my lap. And say, listen, we need to have a meeting. We always like to basically compare it to a gym membership.
Oh,
you can't blame
the trainer,
the gym. You haven't lost weight or you don't look good.
Yeah.
The same thing because you haven't gone to the gym.
You
it's the
haven't
same thing as in business. You need to hound your mentors. Because they're the ones that will assist and guide you.
Yeah.
So that plays a very important part of the development of those businesses.
And I was actually afraid that would be something that would be annoying.
Yeah.
Because the young entrepreneur, they're usually super ambitious, and in most cases you don't want to really hound this busy businessman that's mentoring you. So you're saying that within this Black Umbrellas, that mentorship relationship is a very flexible one where people can communicate as often.
It's really extremely flexible, but there's respect and obviously boundaries.
Yeah, there's obviously boundaries.
You don't want to be getting a message from your mentee on a Saturday evening while you're at a social. So it's basically we set those ground rules from the word go when we drop the mentor-mentee agreement, where we'll have a set time or perhaps an agreement between the mentee and mentor.
Yeah.
How often would they meet? And in what form it will take to start off with. And what I normally tell mentees, don't wait for your mentor session, whether it be with the enterprise development manager or myself or the outside volunteer mentor. Sometimes things are pressing and you need to get an answer. Pick up the phone. If you can't get hold of me, drop me an email. If you can't get hold of me, still drop me a WhatsApp.
So I think mainly that flexibility comes from the fact that it's entrepreneurs that design this, so they do understand the hunger for in the development phases that you want so many answers. So it really makes it a very great, you know what I mean? Because there's so much understanding.
It plays a vital role.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing is that for any entrepreneur, when they go into business, they must be open-minded.
Yes.
They shouldn't go in and have a preconceived idea and this is the way I'm going to run it, because the environment changes.
Yes,
and you
we
need to be
evolve
flexible.
daily. Exactly.
So it plays an important role that the individual also be open, because you're going to be criticized. That's part of mentorship. It's because it's for your development.
Yeah.
So you might be doing things that is not constructive or that's not beneficial for the business, and yet you feel that you've putting in all this time. But is it really, like I always say, is it making your bank account jingle?
Ooh.
You know, sometimes we get busy with things that is not generating income.
Busy wasting time. So I really want to speak now on how to get into this incubation just before we end up. I don't want to kill time. I really want to know how one can get a piece of the pie.
So firstly, like I've mentioned, an application needs to be made to Black Umbrellas.
Is this found online?
It's found online. So you do an online application. You write up a little bit what is it that you want to do. You get invited to an open day or a orientation day, and it gives you a little bit more background around Black Umbrellas and how we operate and those type of things. And then you get invited, once we have all the supporting documents, making sure that the business is compliant and all those things, we then invite them for an interview with the enterprise development manager. Based on that interview, we obviously look at where the business is at or where the idea is at. From there, we then give the opportunity for, if the business is sound, and we give the entrepreneur an opportunity to come onto our pre-incubation program. And this is where they actually unpack that whole business idea.
Yes, and how often is this?
We run, orientation runs on a weekly basis.
Oh, on a weekly basis. So this is something that's just regularly?
Regularly. Our pre-incubation, there's always 1 or 2 intakes per month.
Yeah,
and so it happens quite often. And then obviously once they've passed the pre-incubation, the 10-week program, and they've gone past the panel presentations, we then offer them full incubation. And with full incubation, there's 2 options. One, there's the remote option, meaning that the business owner has their own premises. They don't need our office space. They don't really need that, And then you have the individual that requires office space. So they'll take up residency. So the resident client, he basically gets access to the office 24/7.
And the business address as well.
The business address as well. He gets an office space. He gets access to telephone, internet. He gets access to a desk, computer. He gets coffee, tea, access to boardrooms, meeting rooms. For meetings. He has access to a driver that will take him to meetings and bring him back. He has access to a bookkeeper that will do his accounting. So if you are an emerging creative entrepreneur or just an entrepreneur with a great concept, do reach out to blackumbrellas.org and fill out the application form to get involved in the Black Umbrellas incubation. Until next time, nice speaking to you. Cheers.